Hey there, everyone. I am Liz with Premier Yarns. I want to say thank you to all of you for joining me today. Thank you to everyone who's putting where you're from in the chat. That's really fun for me to see people from all over the place. I am Liz, and I am here in Kentucky. I saw Billy from Kentucky. Hi, Billy. I'm also in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm not from here, but I'm here. And I love it. So today we're going to talk about crochet, kind of a very beginning, just introducing you to it. So I know we have a lot of people here today, which is great. But if you have any questions, put them in the chat. So that way I can, sometimes they scroll too fast and I don't see them if I'm kind of talking. So just put them in the chat and I will try to get to them. I also want to show you as much as I can with like the first 45 minutes. And then after that, maybe I'll leave like 15 minutes for questions because I know it's hard. When you're just learning, it's kind of fun or helpful to have someone right there live with you that you can ask specific questions to. There's lots of resources online to learn how to crochet, so I will tell you a couple of those, and also lots of resources at Michael's too. This class is going to be on, so you can watch it again on YouTube if you need to watch it again and again. But like I said, at the end, we'll leave some time for sort of live back and forth questions and things like that. Okay, there's a lot to go over, so let's switch over to my hands. And we're going to first talk about yarn, hooks, and then I'm going to show you as much as I can specifically how to chain, how to hold your yarn and your hook, and how to make a single crochet. There's more to it, of course. This is very introductory and we're only going to get to what we can get to, but there's a lot of resources out there for you guys. The main thing that I would say, the most important thing with crochet, just like everything in life, is you have to practice. You're not going to get it right away. But once you practice, because it is so repetitive and sort of like the same thing over and over, once you practice for a little bit, you're going to get it really quick, and it's just going to be like muscle memory, second nature kind of thing to you. You just have to practice consistently. So like after today, maybe, practice for a couple days, like every single day, and you'll get it in no time. Okay. So firstly, let's talk about yarn. I'm going to use this. Oh, the really cool thing about crochet too is you don't need a lot of stuff. You just need like some yarn and one hook. You need more hooks later, but not that many, and they're not expensive at all. So it's a very affordable hobby to have. This is a worsted weight yarn, loops and thread soft classic. This is what I recommend to start with, a nice number 4 or medium worsted weight yarn. That's always good to get you started, just because of the thickness and because of the smoothness. You don't want to start with anything that's too textured because you're going to have a really hard time seeing your stitches. So when I say textured, I have an example here, something like this. These are really fun and trendy right now, these fuzzy yarns, and they're great. But it's hard to see the stitches because this is what you're working with, this little thin thread. So all this fuzz around the thin thread kind of obstructs the view of your stitches, and it's hard to see working into those stitches. Once you get the hang of it, it'll be no problem for you, but I wouldn't start out with something like that. Nor would I start out with something like this. That's super fuzzy. That's really going to be hard to see your stitches. I don't even know what this is. I've never used it. I don't particularly love textured stuff, but there are things that you can make with it that are fun. So for this one, which we're going to be using, this is what I recommend you practice with. It's usually going to come right out from the center like this. So skeins are different, but this one comes right out from the center. So it just pulls out and it's super easy to use. So I have hooks. The hooks are going to come in either this sort of like, there's a name for this, but I forgot what it is. So see how this one's a little bit more rounded and this one is a little bit more sharp as far as the hook goes. See that? And that's just personal preference. It makes no difference whichever one you use. These are really great. Susan Bates, they're very inexpensive. You can get these at Michael's. And this is the one that I like to use, just my personal preference, but I like to use these too. This is a tulip, and that's just what I like to use. So that's it. I mean, basically get whatever you want to use, just get one while you're starting off. Get a 5.5 millimeter, which will say right on there, 5.5 millimeter, 5.5 millimeter. And I'm just telling you to get that one because it goes with this yarn. So as you change yarns, you're going to need a couple more hooks to add to your collection, but just to practice, get a 5.5 millimeter and a nice number 4 worsted weight yarn, and that'll do you. Okay. So that's it. There's a lot more to talk about for that, but I'm not going to, because I want to actually show you how to hold your yarn and how to hold your hook. So everything in crochet starts out with a slip knot, almost everything. Do we need the yarn needles? Do you mean one of these? Yeah, you're going to need this once you get going, like when you actually do a project, because you're going to have like sort of leftover ends and you want to weave those in with this. That's all you use this for, is just to weave in your ends. It's like a finishing thing. And those are obviously super inexpensive as well. You're welcome. Okay, I wish I could, like I said, the chat is a little silly sometimes and it doesn't always show you. What's the best beginner yarn or hook? The best beginner yarn is this, worsted weight. Anything that's worsted weight, I recommend Loops and Threads. Soft classic acrylic yarn, number 4 worsted weight. Very inexpensive. It's got a lot to it. You can get it at Michael's. Light colored. Don't get anything black or navy blue, because that's going to be harder to see your stitches. And the best beginner hook is something inexpensive like this, because you don't want to invest a lot of money, and you don't have to really. There's neither of these are expensive. I think this one's like maybe $3-4. I think this one's maybe like $10 online. But yeah, I recommend this one to start out with. And hooks, you kind of are going to go through, like as you continue to crochet, you might be like, oh, this one, like I don't like how it does this or that, and you might switch it up. What I did was I kind of like started with this one, and then like for a couple of years I used this one, and then I went back to this one. It's just like a personal preference thing. So I would say as a beginner, just buy something inexpensive that is comfortable. It's probably more comfortable to have this grip on it. So get something with a grip, because the other ones that don't have a grip are just a little harder on your hands. Oh, stitch marker. Yes, you could, if you have a stitch marker, I'll probably use a stitch marker, because that's helpful when you're a beginner to see your stitches and your beginnings and ends of your rows. So I use these, but you don't have to buy stitch markers. You can use like a safety pin or a paper clip or whatever you have in the house. So how you determine which size hook is on the back of the yarn. Okay, they have all of the yarns have on the labels the hook that they recommend. So this is a recommended hook. It says it right here. This one's an 8 millimeter for this yarn. For the number 4 worsted weight yarn, it's a 5.5 millimeter. So the thicker the yarn, the larger the hook. The thinner the yarn, the smaller the hook, right? But remember, this is just a recommendation. So if it says 5.5 millimeter and your stitches are not coming out to the gauge that you want them to come out, then you just go up or down a hook size depending on that. But that's a little bit more advanced. Okay, so when you get into reading patterns and making projects from patterns, gauge is going to be the most important thing. And if we have time later, I'll talk about that. But right now, I think it's a little too advanced. So just when you're beginning, when you're practicing, just for practice purposes, just buy the hook that's on the back of the yarn, the recommended hook, okay? But that's not like a hard and fast rule. You don't have to use that hook just because you're using that yarn. It's just recommended by the company. I have an old hook that says 29 cents. I bet you do. Okay. All right, let me just move this so I can show you. Okay, so I'm right-handed. So I'm going to hold my hook in my right hand and my yarn. I'm going to feed the yarn through my left hand, okay? If you are left-handed, you're going to hold your hook in your left hand and you're going to feed the yarn through your right hand. If you're left-handed, your work is going to move in this direction from right to left. If you're right-handed, your work is always going to move in this direction. I'm sorry, from right to left, from left to right. Okay, so if you're right-handed, it's going to go this way. If you're left-handed, it's going to go this way. And that'll make more sense once I start working. I'll show you. Okay, so we always start, almost always, with a slip knot on the hook. We start with the slip knot so we can place that on the hook, and then we can make a chain from that. That's going to come out from that slip knot. And then once we have the chain or the foundation chain or the starting chain, we're going to work stitches into the chain. Okay, so we have to start from somewhere and to build the work upwards in rows. And that's that chain is what we start from. So it's usually called in a pattern, or if you're watching a video, it'll say make a starting chain of 15 chains or make a foundation chain of 15 chains. So in order to make that chain, you have to make a slip knot, and that just holds everything on the hook. Okay, so there's a couple different ways to do this. One way I do it is I take the tail, and then I just kind of take that short tail and put it over the long tail, so it's crossed over like that. And then I do this move. I put my thumb and my index finger in there, and then I give it like a twist like that. And then I can grab that little tail and pull the long tail and the short tail. And then I've made the slip knot. Let me just see if I can. Trying to get a little closer. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Let me show you that again. Take the short tail, put it over the long tail, which is the tail that's attached to the ball. And then you have like a little sort of just one piece crossed over the other piece, right? Like a loop. And then I put these two fingers through that loop, give it a twist this way. And that just allows me to grab that little tail and pull it through like that. Now there's another way to do it. You can take the short tail, put it over your palm like this, wrap it around these two fingers, cross it over. So see, I'm holding that tail, and I'm just gonna rotate my hand this way, grab my pinky, or grab it with my pinky to hold on to it, okay? So now I have this sort of crossover here, and then I can take my hook and put it under the first one and over the second one. See, so I'm going under and over and pull the second one beneath the first one. And then that, you can do that with your finger too, that little pull through, you can pull that and make your slip knot like that. So there's actually probably more than these two ways to do it. These are the two ways that I know. But let me show you this way again. So over, sometimes it's easier if you do it quicker. Cross over, and I'm only grabbing it just to hold it stable. Put my hook under, and I'm grabbing that top loop, and I'm pulling that top strand, and then that strand that's on my hook, I'll just pull it to make this slip knot. And you can even do it with your finger. Let's see. So over, I go under with my finger, grab that loop. That's the slip knot part. And one more time the other way. So do the little crossover. And then I just give it a twist and grab it. So you're basically just trying to make this loop that's like a sort of adjustable. So when you put it on your hook and you pull this tail, it'll tighten it up. And then you have that slip knot on your hook like that. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. That's the first thing you need to learn. My video isn't working. Second one worked. Okay, second one worked better. Yeah, so let's do the how do it right hand. Yeah, so this is right-handed. I'm right-handed, so that's the way we do it. We do a little, I'm working this with my right hand. See, I can just put my finger under there, grab that loop, and boom, that's it, okay? So now once you have this loop, it doesn't matter how big it is because you can tighten it up once it's on your hook. So now I am going to take my hook in my right hand, And I'm just going to put that loop over my hook. And then I can just take that little tail and pull it. So it's on the hook, but you don't want to yank it too tight. Okay. You want it to be able to move. So let me show you. There's a little bit of space in there because you're going to have to kind of loop your yarn through that there. So you don't want it to be too tight. Now, one of the hard parts too is holding your yarn in this hand, in your non-dominant hand, in my case, my left hand. You can hold it however you want, however you feel most comfortable. There's lots of different ways you can do it. No way is correct. It's just whatever you are best at and whatever you feel most comfortable with. I feel most comfortable giving it like one of these. So I go over and around like that. So I kind of just weave it through these fingers. And then it's laying over my index finger. So you need it to be laying over your index finger so you can grab it with your hook like that, because that's what we're going to be doing, is basically just grabbing it. So you can hold it like that. Some people hold it, they just wrap it around just the pinky and then put it over all these fingers, right? But see how you can see it's still feeding right there over my index finger. So I can grab it like that. Some people do like a wrap around the index finger. So they wrap it around like this a few times. And then they can still grab it. That one seems kind of weird because this tightens up around my finger, so I never do it that way. But what you really want, so no matter how you hold it, you want the yarn to feed through like this smoothly, right? It has to just feed through your fingers like that, because we're going to be just kind of working this yarn and it's going to be pulling from this skein, and you're going to be pulling it as you work it through with this hand, but you're going to have to hold it in a way that it doesn't fall off your hand, that it doesn't tighten up around your finger or whatever. It just has to feed through smoothly. Okay. And that's all about like tension and things like that. So just hold it in a way that you feel comfortable, that it feeds through comfortably. If you want to try it like I do it, I just do just kind of a weave through like that. So as long as it's over my index finger. So I'm going to hold it like this. And I'm just going to I hold on to this tail here because that helps me guide it through. Okay. So now that I have my slip knot on my hook, I have my hook in my dominant hand, and I have my yarn in a way that's comfortable. This strand is what we're going to be working with. So what I want to do is do what's called a yarn over. And that just means the yarn goes over the hook like this. Now, as you can see, my hook part is facing upwards. And then I can just place the yarn over the hook. Or I can just put the hook kind of like that, move. So move whichever hand you want, you know, you're probably going to be moving both of them at the same time. So the movement that you want is for the yarn to go over the hook. Now, if I just try to pull this yarn and pull it right through that chain, see what happens? It doesn't want to go through. Okay, and then I lose it. So what we're doing is we're grabbing this yarn and we're pulling it through this stitch or this slip knot that we made. But if you try to pull it like that, it's going to be very difficult. So the hook is meant to go yarn over and then rotate the hook like this. So that way the hook part is facing downwards now and it's not facing upwards anymore. And as you pull it through, it's going to smoothly go right through that loop that's on the hook because it was nice and smooth on the top, right? So now I made a chain because I pulled that right through that slip knot that was on my hook. And now, as you can see, I'm back in the same position that I was before because I still have that loop on my hook to work my next chain. So let's do that again. Here's where we started. And we're making a chain just in case I didn't specify. We're starting with a slip knot on the hook. And the slip knot doesn't count as a chain. So when we're counting these chains, my foot's asleep. when we're counting these chains, this doesn't count as anything, okay? The motion of pulling that through and making that chain, that counts as one chain. So I'm just holding this here. Now, with my hook facing upwards, I'm going to wrap that yarn over. And as I pull it through, I rotate it so the hook is downwards, and then it goes nice and easily through that loop. And then it puts another loop on the hook. Now I'm still holding it the same exact way. So right here, I made one chain. Okay, now I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm just going to yarn over with my hook facing upwards. I'm going to yarn over, and then I'm going to rotate my hook so it's facing downwards. And then it's going to go right through that loop that's on the hook. And then I'll rotate it back upwards. Now, every time you do another one, you want to give it a little bit of slack, right? So if it's like this, really tight, you're not going to be able to get anything through there. See, there's no room to get anything through there. So just give it a little bit of slack. And this comes with practice. This is a tension thing. It comes with practice to kind of keep the right amount of slack for each chain. There's no handout because this is like super duper basic. I'm just kind of showing you how to do it. But I'll give you some recommendations of like maybe how to practice, what to practice towards the end, okay? All right, so let's do this again. Yarn over, rotate, and pull that through. And now I've got my next loop on the hook, and you see there's some slack there, so there's room to pull another loop through. Yarn over, rotate, pull through. And as I come back out, I'm going to rotate my hook back upwards so it's in the correct position to do the next chain. Rotate, pull it through. And if you can see what's happening right here is this yarn is just feeding through. See it moving? As I'm doing this, it's just feeding through my fingers. So that probably will take you some time to get the yarn to where it feeds through nice and easily and it doesn't slip off like sometimes it slips off my finger like that. But that's just practice. Right, so you want to get it to where you're just doing this motion nice and easily and the yarn is just feeding right through. And as I'm moving, I'm rotating my hook, and that'll just be, see my hand? It goes really easy. All I do is I rotate it with these back fingers. Like there's hardly any movement happening. I don't really even have to move my wrist too much. I'm just kind of moving my fingers. This is the way I hold my hook. Like this is called a knife hold. Some people hold their hook like this, like a pencil. But for me, that seems very, like I have to do a lot of movement to do that with my wrist. And it's just a little awkward for me. But if that's easier for you, then that's totally fine. Lots of people hold it this way. I just feel like when I hold it this way, I'm barely even moving. It's like nothing's happening here and I'm working, right? So that's also a personal preference. Let me see if 2:25. Okay, so we're pretty good on time because we've gone through the chains. And then all I'm going to show you is how to work stitches into these chains. Sometimes my chain comes out too tightly. Okay. All right, so that doesn't matter whenever you loop over. Let me just go back and then I'll address all these questions. Okay, I think this is where somebody said, Kathy said, does it matter whether you loop over to the left or to the right? Okay, so it matters. Watch this. If you go over, yes, you don't want to go, you don't want to go over like this. You need to go over like this, okay? So basically you're just pulling that through like that. I don't know how to explain this. If I went like this, I can't pull that. I can't really pull that through. See what happens? So I'm going over from the outside to the inside towards my palm, if that makes sense. So this yarn is going over from the outside to the inside, and then I'm pulling it through. If I were to go from the inside to the outside, it's not going to work. If you try it, you'll see. Okay, so try going when you yarn over from the outside to the inside like that. So you're doing almost like a full wrap around. Now, sometimes you really don't even have to move this hand to yarn it over. You can, but you really don't even have to. You can do all that movement with just your hook like that, see? Instead of going like this, which is not going to work. So you have to go like that. So I guess you would say maybe from the inside to the outside, if that makes sense. I think it's not really, so there's okay, I'm not going to go into that because that's doesn't matter. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Kathy, about moving it when you yarn over. So yarn over from the outside to the inside. If you're yarning over and it's like just not going through, then you'll probably correct yourself and realize, okay, it needs to go over like this. So it's like a complete wraparound, not from the inside out. Okay, Hannah, how to not slip off. Yeah, it does. That's Rosa said it's slipping off, and that happens. So a couple times I've tried to do this with my left hand, and because I'm so terribly bad at it, what happens is it just keeps, when I'm trying to do something, it just keeps slipping off my hook like that. Like I just cannot figure it out how to do it with my left hand. So that's just because you're just starting. Okay, so make sure you use your dominant hand, hold your hook with the dominant hand. And if you're getting this problem where you're slipping off, make sure you're yarning over the right way, and make sure you're just try to work on holding this yarn in your left hand or your non-dominant hand. And then that will kind of, eventually it'll stop slipping off the hook. So, and make sure you're not pulling it too tight and you're giving it a little slack when it comes up. Okay, so Liz, can you talk about, some of my chains came out too tightly. Okay, so Sonali said, sometimes my chains come out too tightly, and that's totally normal. Everybody's chains come out too tightly in the beginning, and that's just a matter of practice and getting this tension right. As it's sliding through your finger nice and easy, that's what you want to work on. There's no really thing I can tell you that you're doing wrong, because you're probably not doing anything wrong. You just have to get the muscle memory used to every stitch being kind of the same, and that just comes with pulling up the slack the right amount, having that yarn feed through your left hand properly, and just doing all that consistently, and that just comes with practice. Yes, I keep my finger. I can't keep my, but I got it. How many loops? How long should the tail be? So the tail doesn't matter because we're just practicing. You can make a million chains if you want to, or you can just make 10. We're just practicing. Pull extra thread by accident when pull over. How to avoid. Okay, so if you're pulling too much, if you're pulling like this, and oh, I can't, obviously that's way too big, right? So then what you would do is take your hook off of there, pull that yarn, and just pull it right out. Boom. You can pull back as far as you want to. You can pull back all of these chains that we made. If you screwed up somehow, some way, just pull it all right back, okay? And there's my one. Okay, I'm done. I pulled back as much as I want to pull back because I screwed up. But here I have one loop left, and I'm going to put my hook right back into that loop and start from there. Okay. If you pulled back too many, you pulled back 4 too many, just make 4 more. Okay. But like I said, we're not making a certain amount right now because we're just practicing. Where do we get the recorded video? Because I have to leave, Anya. It's going to be on YouTube, I think, tomorrow. How do we keep a consistent size? And that's just about practice, practice, practice. I'm struggling with keeping the yard under tension. It keeps going loose in my left hand. And that's going to be everyone's struggle. Everyone will struggle with that. And it's just, you just have to practice and get the muscle memory to, you know, kind of keep that tension, right? It's all about keeping your tension consistent. And unfortunately, I don't really have any great tips except keep practicing and you'll get it. Please explain how to do the second row. We're getting to the second row. I meant how long. Oh, should the tail of the slip knot be? It doesn't matter. I usually leave it like about this, because that's where you're not going to do anything with that. Under certain circumstances, if you have a specific pattern that tells you to leave a long tail, then you can do that. But otherwise, it doesn't matter at all, at all. Okay, I mean the extra thread from the old chain. Where do we get the? Okay, good. I think I answered all those questions. And don't worry, we're going to leave because I'm just going to show you how to work into these chains. And then I'll leave a few more minutes for questions. If we don't have any questions, we'll just do some more, maybe some different stitches. Okay. So now let me talk to you about this chain that I made. Let me make a few more. I'll show you again, kind of slowly. There's my sort of way I've fed it through, right? I'm holding onto this chain as I work. As this chain gets longer and longer, my fingers are going to stay up here closer to the bottom of my hook, just to stabilize things. And I'm yarning over my hook upward, and then I'm grabbing that yarn and pulling it through the loop. And as I come back up, I'm going to give it a little slack so it looks like about that. So it's easy to move the hook through and there's room in there. Okay. So if you kind of look at those loops and say, okay, if all my loops come out about that size, then I'm good and I'm consistent, right? And that's just practice. And then I'll make another chain. And then I'll make another chain. And then I'll make another chain. Okay. So let's talk about these chains. This is my foundation chain. This is I'm going to just do like that so I don't lose it. Okay. Now you can see it looks like a braid almost. I wanted to show you this so you could see. He's got all these little V's. And these V's are going to come into stitches too. So all these little V's is the front. This is kind of like the front of the chain. So here's a V, here's a V, here's a V, here's a V, here's a V. This is the loop that's on the hook. This does not count as anything. But this first V right here, where that loop is coming out of, counts as a chain. This one counts as a chain. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is this little knot right here. That's that original slip knot that we made. Okay, that's nothing. That doesn't count as anything. So only the V's count as chains. When you're working from a pattern or video or something, that they're always going to instruct you to make a certain amount of chains. So it'll say chain 25, chain 225, whatever it is, that's how you count them. Okay. And you can count as you're working 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you're working, but it's probably always a good idea to count afterwards too, to make sure you have the correct amount of chains. So again, this doesn't count as anything, and all these little V's count as chains. If I turn my chain over, you can see it looks a little different. It looks like it's got these little bumps. So here's a bump, here's a bump, here's a bump, here's a bump. See it from this side. They're like little, see those little bumps? They kind of hills that rise up. You can count those too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 bumps. So I have 12 chains. Sometimes you want to work your first row into those bumps. Sometimes the pattern will specifically say, work into the back bumps of the chain, and in that case you will. Most of the time, you can work into the front of the chain. I like to work into the back bumps, but that'll be when you get more used to everything. For beginners, just work into the front of the chains, okay? So now I'm just gonna put this back on my hook so I can show you how to work into these chains. So now remember we counted 12 chains. The pattern will say single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Almost always it'll say that, right? If you're working single crochets. So remember, doesn't count. First chain from the hook, right? Here's my hook. This first V is the first chain from the hook. This next V is the second chain from the hook. So I want to put my first single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Does that make sense to everybody? Because we're moving on to single crochets. So, and then I'll just show you kind of how the rows go. Go over how to count the first chain. Okay, so I think we kind of just covered that, right? So this is the loop on the hook. This first sort of V, you can see that loop is coming out of there, but you can still see the V, that's the first chain. And this one's the second, okay? Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, 12th. And that'll come with practice too. You'll be able to visualize them quickly and see, okay, boom, second chain from the hook. But that takes a little practice because you're not used to looking at this, right? But once you get used to looking at it over and over again, because it's a very repetitive thing, you'll know right away where your chains are. So, okay, pattern says single crochet in the second chain from the hook. I'm holding my yarn the same way I did with my chains, and I'm holding my hook the same way I did with my chains when I made my chains. The only difference is I'm working into this chain. And remember, I'm going from right to left, like we said in the beginning, from right to left. If I was left-handed, I'd be going from left to right. So here's the second chain. I'm just going to insert my hook right into that chain. So I'm going kind of right in the center of it or underneath this first sort of loop. You get close so you can see. First chain, second chain. I'm just going to insert right under there. And now that I've inserted right under there, that loop that we always have on there is still on the hook. And then also I have another loop on the hook because I've inserted my hook underneath that loop. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing that we did with the chains, where I'm going to yarn over and then rotate my hook so I can hook that yarn. And then I'm going to pull it through only that first loop, just kind of like we did when we made the chains. Okay, and now rotate it back up just like we did before. But now we have 2 loops on the hook. So all we have to do is yarn over again and pull through both of those loops. So yarn over again with my hook facing up, rotate just like we did, and pull it through both loops. And back up. So you're always going to have that one loop on the hook, always, 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 okay? So now if you can see what we did, we made 1 stitch. We made 1 single crochet, and that is right here. This little thing right here with a strand here and a strand here. That's what it looks like from the side. From the top, it looks a little different, but looks like a V again, but I'll show you more as we make more. It'll be easier to see from the top. We made 1 single crochet. Now we're going to make another single crochet into the next chain. And I'm going to redo it because this is basically the same thing, okay? I'm just working into the next chain. I'm going to work into every one of these chains. So the first one goes into the second chain from the hook. The next one goes into the next. Doesn't matter how many they are from the hook at this point. Now you're just going into the one right beside it. We're going to work into each one of those, okay? So here's the next chain right here. Underneath there, I'm going to insert my hook under that loop. And then I'm gonna hook it, which is the yarn over, rotate it, pull it through the first loop, pull it back up. Remember, give it some slack so it's kind of aligned. If it's too tight, it'll be hard to work through, right? You don't want it like that. You want to give it some nice slack there. Now that I have 2 loops on the hook, I'm going to yarn over again. All this movement is the same. The yarning over and the pulling through, that's the same, okay? Yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. 1, 2. And back up. Back to my loop on the hook. Now I've made another single crochet. So far I've made 2 single crochets. Nicole, if your chain is too tight, just rip it out and make a new one. I know it takes time, so you might miss this part, but you can remember, you can rewatch it. And just make like 5 chains. You don't have to make a million, just make like 5 chains so you can practice. Too loose is okay. You can still work into it. It'll just look wonky. Just practice with, if it's too loose, you can keep practicing with it. You can work through it too loose. You can't work through it too tight. But if you want to rip it out and make it more consistent, you can do that too. Okay, so next chain. Here's the next chain right there. And I'm just going to go. You're kind of just going into the center of that chain. But if you look at it as a top loop and a bottom loop of the V, you're going underneath the top loop. It kind of, it's tricky because it will get slightly distorted as you work into it. You see how this one's kind of pulling this one up and it's kind of moving this one around. So it's very difficult to tell your chains when you're first starting out, but it will come with practice. Okay, so I'm going to insert into that chain. That's why I say no textured yarn, because could you imagine if you're trying to work into, you're trying to see this chain and work into it, you've got all these like fuzz and fur everywhere all around it. It's like impossible. So smooth yarn, smooth worsted weight yarn. Okay, so insert. It's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to yarn over again, rotate that hook downward so I can make it through the 1 loop only. And once I come back up, I'll have 2 loops on my hook. Straighten those out so I have a nice, enough, not like this, right? That's too loose. If I do that, I'll have a giant floppy stitch. You want it to be nice and consistent. So I'm just going to pull that back, go back to where I started. So insert, yarn over, pull through, give it a little slack, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops. And now I'm back to 1 loop on the hook and it's not too tight. So let me do that a couple more times slowly, and then I'm just going to work to the end so I can show you how we do the next row. So insert into the next chain. I'm just going into the next chain right beside it, right? I'm not skipping or anything like that. And pull that through. Rotate my hook back up. It's very important to sort of try to be consistent about rotating your hook. It'll make everything easier for you. Yarn over again, rotate my hook and pull it through 2 loops. Now that single crochet is done. I'm going to start the next single crochet. Insert my hook into the center of that chain. Yarn over, rotate. And the rotating is kind of going with the movement, right? You don't have to like stop and rotate it. It's just going with the flow of the movement. And again. Next chain is right here. Yarn over. See how I'm rotating? It's like just a flow thing. And pull through. And another single crochet. And what I'm going to do is just make those single crochets until I get all the way to the end, to my last chain, which if you look at it like we did with the V's, I can see that I have 1 more V left over, 1 more. chain right here. So I'm going to insert and put my last single crochet into that chain. Okay, so now if I started with 12 chains and I worked one single crochet into each of those chains, I would have 12 single crochets, right? But remember, we didn't work into the first chain from the hook. We worked into the second chain from the hook. And that was just so it could leave some room for it to sort of bend over this way, right? So what I should have are 11 single crochets because I didn't start with the first chain. I kind of skipped that one. I started with the second chain. So mathematically, I should have 11 single crochets here. So let's look at this little row that I made and let's count those single crochets. Here's how they look from the side, but it's easy to count from the top. So if I kind of rotate it and you're looking down on it, you see those V's again, right? Let's look at this way. So this is my loop that's on my hook. That doesn't count as anything. Half loose, half normal. There you go. So a few more practices, it's going to be all normal. It actually doesn't take that much time because you'll get it quickly, trust me. Okay, so here's my first loop. That's the one that's on the hook. This right here, where that V is, that first V, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and here's my 11th V. So I made 11 single crochets. I started with a chain of 12. I started working into the second chain from the hook, which will yield 11 single crochets. And you just count those V's just like we did with the chains. This first one, even though this loop is sort of coming out of that V, that's still a stitch, that V. So make sure you count that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is just a random number for practice. It doesn't matter how many you have. Okay, so now, remember, here was my chain. I started right here and I started working in this direction. But now I'm here at the end and I can't continue going, right? So at this point, you need to turn your work. What happens is, because we want to work stitches into the next row, which will be into the tops of these single crochets, we have to bring this up to the height, because if I try to work right into this first one, it's just not going to work. So in order to bring it up to the height where we need, right, so we need this height. So we got about, I don't know if this is like a centimeter. We're going to have another centimeter and another centimeter. So we need to bring this loop up to the height that we need to work these next row of single crochets. And we always do that by making a chain. So in your pattern, it'll say row 2. We're on row 2, right? Chain 1. And then turn your work, or turn your work and then chain 1. It doesn't matter, but I'll show you. So now I'm just going to chain 1. And that's exactly like we did with the starting chain. I've got my loop on my hook. I've got my work here. I'm at the end of my row. I'm going to yarn over, pull that loop through, and boom, I've chained 1. There's my 1 chain. And now I need to turn this piece. So I'm just going to turn it like this. And now I can start working in the same direction that I did before. So every time I do another row, I'm turning and I'm working this direction, and I'm turning and I'm working this direction, because you're going to be at the end, right? So as you turn, it'll be the beginning again. Boom. You'll be at the end. As you turn, it'll be at the beginning again. And that's how you're going to stack those rows on top of each other, okay? So you don't always turn and crochet, but when you're working in rows, turned rows, you'll always turn. There are rounds too, but that's for another class. Okay, so I did my chain 1, which just brings me up to the height that I need to be at. It doesn't count as anything. In this case, it doesn't count as anything. I'm going to turn my work, Now it gets a little tricky here because, okay, this is where people have trouble figuring out the first stitch of the row and the last stitch of the row. So what you can do is at the end here, okay, well, this is, I probably should have done this before we did the chain up. So let's say I didn't do that chain up yet. Let's say I'm at the end of the row, I counted my 11 single crochets. So then what you can do is mark this stitch. So you remember this is the end of the row, which is going to be the beginning of the row, okay? I'm not used to marking unless I need to for a specific thing, so. Okay, so you can use a safety pin, a rubber band, whatever. So I chain up one, and then I turn, and now I am starting at the beginning again. So I want to work into that first V, which is right here. See, there's my V. And then I'm just going to go under both loops of that V. So into the chain is a little harder. This is actually easier, but you're working under 2 loops, right? Instead of just the one in the chain. So here's a loop. See my hook? And there's a loop. I'm going under both of those loops. So I'll show you again. Holding your hook, everything's the same. Just go under, here's a loop, and there's a loop. Just go directly under both of those loops like that. And then we do the same thing that we did before. So we yarn over, pull through. Now that I have 2 loops on my hook, I'm going to yarn over again and pull through those 2. And now I've made my first single crochet. Now if you look, I have another V right here. Right, so there's the V. I'm going to put my hook under both of those loops of the V. That's where my hook's going to go. From the side you can see. That's where your hook should go, just under both of those loops. So insert under both of those loops. Yarn over again, pull through. 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2. And then again to the next one. I'm just working into each single crochet. I'm working 1 single crochet into each single crochet. So under both loops. And you're doing the same movement with your hook and your yarn. You can see my yarn's just feeding through just like it was with my chains. And now at this point I can count to make sure I'm at the right place, because when you get to the end, it could be a little sort of different looking. See, that V is a little bit harder to see. It's kind of curved, like turned. So you can count, okay, make sure now, if I've worked into 11 stitches, I should have 11 stitches, right? So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I can mark this one here again to say, okay, I've made 11 stitches. I think counting is really helpful. If you just count like if you're making a scarf and you have 20 single crochets and you just want to make a long scarf with, that's it, that's the whole scarf. Just count after the end of each row, or count as you're working them, and make sure you have 20 each time. If you have 20 single crochets with each row as you continue on and on, you'll have a nice straight edged scarf. If you drop a stitch and then you do a row with only 19, or you forget, you didn't put in the right spot, and then you only have 18, or you put too many and you have 22, your scarf's going to be like all jagged and all over the place, right? So just count your stitches after every row. So a good way to practice would be just to say, okay, I'm going to make a scarf. So I got 1 ball of yarn. I'm going to pick, maybe you want a skinny scarf, or maybe you want a thicker scarf. Pick like maybe what's this, 11? So pick like 22 single crochets, and then just keep making rows and rows and rows and rows of single crochets until your scarf is a scarf. Right, that's all you have to do. So this is what we're doing again. So we're gonna chain up one, turn the work just like we did before. Now if there's that little marker, so I know I'm going to put my stitch right into that marker because that was the last stitch of the previous row, and now it's the first stitch of the current row. So it gets in the way, but single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. I did the right amount. I counted and I have 11. So then I'm going to chain up 1, turn it again, and do the same thing. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to chain up 1, turn it again, and do the same thing. And as you can see, as I continue, this is just going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And if you are, if it's kind of curved like this, or if it's curved like this, that's just a tension issue. Your tension is getting like too tight in some places and too loose in other places. But if you can keep it nice and straight like this, you'll have a nice straight scarf. So just practice with something super easy like that. Just like make a single crochet scarf, or make, you know, if you're like, okay, I got this, I don't need to make a whole entire scarf, you know, then move on to something else. But that's just practice. Like I said, just like everything else, practice makes perfect. So let's see. Oh man, I wanted to have more time for questions, but we just kind of talked through the whole thing. I had a feeling that would happen. Let me scroll through here and see if I had any burning questions that I could answer. The very first chain. If you need steps repeated, don't. Okay, so there's review the recording. Wow, it only goes through half the V to crochet. I'm trying to pick up again. Yeah, so when you're working, EK Sanders said it only goes through half the V. So when you're working into that starting chain, it goes through half the V. When you're working into the stitches, so once you're onto rows, you're going into the whole V. So both loops of the V, right? Both loops of the V. Too loose, that's okay, Rosa. Too loose is just a matter of practicing and getting consistent. Can you talk about the best way to hold the stitch? It feels like it's getting in my way. So this is how I hold it. If remember, your yarn's going to be in your non-dominant hand. And as you're working a row, you're just kind of holding the piece here, right? So I'm not really doing anything with the stitch except working into it. I'm holding my hook with this hand, and I'm only gently holding this piece just so it's not like flopping around, right? Because if it's flopping around, obviously I can't really work into it. So I kind of hold it with this hand. I turn it with this hand. I'm kind of using both of my hands throughout, right? And now here I'm holding it with this hand. And then if I turn it with this hand. I kind of hold it when I do the chain. I hold it with this hand, but as I'm working with rows, I'm holding it with my other hand. So just hold it. Obviously, you can't let it flop around. You have to hold it. Just hold it however is most comfortable with you. I guess it would be, if I'm working this way, I would be holding it in this hand, right? Now, as I'm getting to the end of the row, now it's getting shorter and shorter in this hand. So I might grab it with this hand and just to stabilize it. I don't think I ever had anybody ask me that. I'm trying to figure out how I hold it. Basically, holding this, you're kind of moving along with it, but it's really just to stabilize it so it's not flopping all around. Because you might be working on a huge blanket and like half of it's like just draped across your lap, right? So this just figure out how is most comfortable for you to stabilize this piece. Right now, I'm working on a really small piece, so I'm just kind of holding it with this hand to keep it from just being all over the place. But as your piece gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, you might hold it slightly differently. And that's probably just a matter of practicing. Got 10, need to go by Sonali. You can watch anybody can watch the replay, of course. Is it possible to be doing it sideways? My V's are on the side, not on the top. No, your V's should not be on the side. They should be on the top. I'm trying to think how that would happen. You might just be looking. See, if you look at the side, this looks like a V too, right? So the side of the single crochet also looks like a V. So maybe you're just looking at it wrong. So you're looking at this V. Just kind of rotate it and see how these other V's sit on top of this. So this is the V you want to work into, this one that's sitting on the top of the stitch. So if you look at this single crochet, it'll kind of look like this. So here's kind of the side, and then it'll have this like top portion. And this is the top portion of the V. It'll look sort of something like that. So this is the V you want to work into. Can you show us, do you always start in the second loop? With single crochet, Teresa said, do you always start in the second loop? With single crochet, if you're just working just rows of single crochet, you'll always start in the second chain from the hook. With crochet, if you're making a specific project, you're going to go exactly as the pattern instructs you to, because there's, as you can see, there's all different kinds of stitches and ways to work stitches and different variations of stitches. So like if you're making something really lacy, maybe it'll start in the 4th chain from the hook. Maybe it'll start in the 6th chain from the hook. Maybe you'll start with a double crochet instead of a single crochet. So nothing is like always. If you're just doing this for practice and you're just working single crochet row, just like this, always start in the 2nd chain from the hook, always chain up 1 to bring it to the height and turn your work, and then work single crochets, chain up 1, turn, single crochets. That's just for practice, okay? But if you're moving on to projects and patterns, you're just going to do exactly as the pattern instructs you to. And crochet patterns are really good about step by step, every single, they'll tell you exactly what to do with each row. You just have to kind of get used to reading patterns and stuff. And that comes with after you're very proficient at doing these rows and things. When I turn around, I always end up getting more stitches. Jasmine said, when I turn around, I always end up getting more stitches. So if it helps, use the markers. What you're doing is you're working probably, you're just not reading your crochet, right? So you're probably working, maybe when you get to the end here, like maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to put a single crochet in here. And then you're thinking, oh, here's another stitch. I'm going to put a single crochet in there. But that's not a stitch. So now I have too many, right? So it may look like you should put a stitch in there, but you shouldn't. So instead of saying, oh, I'm just gonna put my stitches where it looks like I should put them, count, just count, count, count. So I'm starting with 1. Now let's say I have my single crochet in here, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna chain up 1, I'm gonna turn, and here's my first V, and I'm gonna put a single crochet. Whoops. Now you can see it's sort of already going this way, right? That's because I skipped the stitch. This is the first stitch. So you have to remember to put your single crochet into that stitch and the next stitch. Now, if I say, okay, I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I count all the way across, when I get to the last one, I should be at 11, right? In this case, because I did 11. If I'm at 12, I probably put an extra stitch somewhere. So then you just pull it back, pull that back, pull that back, pull that back to the very beginning and start over again. Or if I'm ending and I'm like, oh wait, I'm at the last single crochet and I only have 9. Why do I only have 9? And then you can pull it back and see, okay, I skipped this first one, or I put too many in that first one. So like that, right? So count or add the stitch markers if that helps, either one, whichever helps. But if you're getting too many or too few, you're just miscounting. It's as simple as that. You're just miscounting. You're putting them in the wrong place. So just practice, count, and that'll help, okay? When I turn, I always end up getting more stitches. So getting started, you go in 2, but after that, you go into 1. So getting started from a chain, right? Chain. If I have a chain and I have whatever this is, here's my chains. The reason I don't go into this first chain from the hook, right? This is the first chain right there. If I were to try to go into that first chain, look what happens. It just like doesn't work. I don't really know why. It just doesn't work. It's something about the way it's looped, right? It doesn't work. So that's why we have to go into the second chain, because these are like little knots, I think. So the knots just kind of unloop themselves. If you try to go into the first chain from the hook, which is this one, that's where that loop is coming out of. That loop that's on your hook, that's coming out of that first chain. So you really can't go into that first chain. So you have to go into the second chain. And also that gives you a little bit of space right here to kind of bring it up to the height that you need to go. So then I would go start in the second chain from the hook, and then I would go all the way across to the last chain. And then at the last chain, all I need to do is bring this up slightly. So this is, now let's see, if I didn't chain, the same thing would happen. If I turned my work and I didn't chain up one, if I try to go in there, it just, I guess you could make it work, but what you need is a little bit of height. So when you start the next row with single crochets, you just chain up one, and that just gives you a little bit more space and a little bit more height. And then you can start going into the second row. And that's not true for all stitches. There are taller stitches that require you to chain up more at the beginning of the row. And that's all going to be dependent on the pattern. So when you're working the foundation chain, you start in the second chain from the hook, 4 single crochets, not for everything. And when you're working rows, you chain up 1 at the start of the row to bring you up to the height that you need to be. 4 single crochets, not for every stitch. So I hope that answered your question, Antoinette. Thank you. A square. Rosa said a square. Are we learning a granny square? No, we are not. That's much more advanced. And we only have an hour today. But there is a granny square class on Michael's that I just saw. I think it's either Tamara Kelly or Marley Bird who did that class, how to make a granny square. So you can check that out. That probably will take a whole hour for you to learn. So that's a 1-hour class. Check that one out on the Michael's YouTube channel. Also, talking about Marley Bird, she has a YouTube channel. It's just called Marley Bird, and she does lots and lots of beginner and more advanced videos, both knit and crochet. So if you want a little bit more practice, or if you're ready to advance beyond this, just like very basic that we did, check out Marley Bird too. She has a lot of good videos. Great start. When can we do more? Okay, there you go. I think that was Bobby. I don't know. My friend from Kentucky said, great start. Where can we do more? So Marley Bird, or go to the Michael's YouTube channel, because all the live classes are reposted there. And there's tons of stuff. I have a lot of classes on there. Marley has a lot of classes on there. Beginner, more advanced stuff, all kinds of things there. Or you can, like I said, go directly to Marley's YouTube channel. I do not have a YouTube channel. The second row, we went over the second row. Yours is so neat. Yeah, mine is neat. I've been doing it for a long time. Yours will get neat after a few months. That's all you need. Vimea said, mine is, I'm a true beginner. I had a scarf that I made. It was the first scarf that I made, and I wish I kept it, because it's so funny. It's like so crooked and so just misshapen and weird and crazy. So I advise you to keep your first project because it's going to be funny in like a year when you see how much you've improved. I wish I had kept that because it would have been so good to show at classes. Practice to create the V. When do we start? Always. When we start a new row, do we always start on the second stitch? With single crochet, you're starting in the first stitch, but not with other stitches. Adam, this is to Adam's question. For single crochet, which is as far as we've gotten today, you're, unless the pattern is something different, you're always starting in the first stitch. Yeah, so to practice, yes, always start in the first stitch with single crochets. So after I turn, do I go through the 2 strings or at the V? After you turn, Rosa, when you're working on row 2, you go into both loops of the V. So yes, 2 strings. I gotta go. See you next week. Bye, Lauren. Pretty scissors. I don't even know where I got those. Those are, we'll be teaching more beginner crochet classes. I'll add some more. This one is probably, I had a lot of signups for this. Sometimes when I do more advanced stuff, I don't get a lot of signups. So maybe I'll do more beginner stuff. This was really nice. Can you teach us the magic ring? Adam, that magic ring, that's a tough one. Can you also search on YouTube Michael's Crochet? I would just go directly, Chanel. Oh yeah, Chanel said go to Michael's Crochet. Yeah, and that'll take you directly to the Michael's YouTube channel and tons of classes there. How do we close off the stitch so it doesn't unravel? Okay, so we'll do this really quick. So if you want to finish your row, let's say you finished your practice or whatever it is, this is all you do. Now I'm done. I'm completely done with my project. And here's where I've ended up, right? Then all I would do is cut that yarn, cut it off the ball because I'm done. And then that loop that I took my hook off of, I only took it off to cut it. I would just pull that. And it's not going to unravel at this point because it can't. Because that loop is gone because you pulled it through, right? So it won't unravel at this point. But of course you've got this tail, so you got to get rid of that. So then that's where your little handy dandy tapestry needle comes in. This is just like sewing, right? So then you would just want to take that tail and I kind of just zigzag it through. So it doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason to this. All you're doing is securing this tail so it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just gonna put it through here. And then I'll zigzag it this way and put it under a couple loops here and maybe do like 3 passes. And once I've done those 3 passes, you see, you can't really see it. Then I would just cut that. Now it's gone. That's not going anywhere. It's not going to unravel. Trust me, it won't unravel. And then you're going to do the same thing with this little tail. Just put it on your tapestry needle, weave it in and cut it. And then you've got your finished piece. Okay, good. Rhea asked the same question. I made a watermelon themed whale yesterday, Adam. That sounds really fun. So this yarn, this is called chenille yarn. This is what we use for all the like fun toys that you see, like the whale that Adam just mentioned, and just, you know, I mean, a million different toys that you see on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, so once you get used to crocheting in rows, you're going to start working with this textured stuff. And once you get a little more practice in, you'll be able to make all those fun little things too. There's probably tons of videos and patterns out for that stuff if that's what you're into. Personally, I like to do like garments and things and accessories and hats. I'm not into the toys, but it is huge right now. I have a part of a scarf. Is there any way by looking at the scarf to see what hook, when she can finish it, does the bigger hook make bigger stitches? Yeah, so Kay asked about the hook size. So there's no way really to look at it to see what kind of hook she used, because everybody's tension is going to be a little bit different. So what I do with a 6mm hook might be a little bit different than what she did with a 6mm hook. What you can do is check the gauge. So take that scarf. I'm going to try to go through this really quick because this is a little advanced. You take that scarf, you take a measuring tape, and you measure out 4 inches of that scarf, and you count how many stitches are in those 4 inches. Okay. And if it's, let's say it's 10 stitches within that 4 inches, then that's your gauge. 10 stitches equals 4 inches. So you're going to make a little swatch, just like a little practice like we did, and try to get 10 stitches within those 4 inches. And if with whatever hook gets you there. So if you can get those 10 stitches within those 4 inches, then you can get the same gauge that she has with that scarf, and you can finish the scarf. Does that make sense? If that, I know that was like super quick, but if that didn't make sense, just look up crochet gauge and like watch a longer video on it, and you'll understand. If you can get the gauge that's in that scarf, which you can measure with a measuring tape, then you can finish the scarf. Totally. Okay. So at the end of the row, when I have the loop coming up out of the V chain, I chain up 1 and start the next row right in the same stitch that the loop is coming out of. That was from EK Sanders. And yes, that is correct. 4 single crochets. Correct. It's not the same with all stitches, but for what we're doing, practicing single crochets, you got it. Okay, sorry about your sis case too. Oh, well, truly appreciate that. You're welcome. And like I said, I know that was like a super quick rundown, but it's all about gauge. So just look up crochet gauge if you want more information about that, but that will help you finish that scarf. Can you use the needle to connect if you have pieces? Yeah, so if you have pieces, like if you were to make a sweater, you would, not always, but you would make the body, the sleeve, the front, the back. You would just take this needle, and then you would sew that sweater together, just like you would sew together, like on a sewing machine. You would sew each piece together. And if, excuse me, if you have a sweater pattern, that's all in the sweater pattern. It'll tell you now seam this piece to, seam the sleeves to the body. Yeah, so that's, yes. You can use this needle to seam pieces of crochet together. It's just like fabric. Just think of it as fabric. So if you make a big square of crochet of this, that's a piece of fabric, and you can do things with that piece of fabric like you would with other pieces of fabric. Thank you. Thank you. You made it very easy to understand. Good. Good. I know it's a lot to pack into 1 hour, but like I said, that rerun, I always want to say rerun, replay of the of this will be on the Michael's YouTube channel, as well as lots and lots and lots of other resources and videos for crochet. So I know I kept you guys a little bit longer, and I do appreciate you hanging out with me on this Saturday. Sorry I didn't leave enough time for questions within the hour. So if you don't mind staying, I don't mind staying. But just remember that everything is in the rerun, and please come and see me. I'm usually here about once a month doing crochet classes. And thank you so, so much for being with me today. And I hope to see you next time, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye, guys.